Exploring the 2026 Washington CTE Growth and Demographics Dashboard. Hello and welcome. If you've ever wanted to understand how career and technical education has changed across Washington state over the past 6 years, this dashboard can help. Whether you're a teacher, administrator, counselor, CTE director, or policymaker, this interactive Tableau dashboard lets you explore statewide trends or drill all the way down to individual schools. This video will show you how the dashboard is organized, how to navigate it, and some of the questions it can help answer. My name is Lawrence Tanimoto. I'm the Vice President of Communications for CSTA Washington and the primary developer of this dashboard. To make this tutorial clear, consistent, and easy to update as the dashboard evolves, most of the narration you'll hear is provided by an AI voice actor, Quentin. I'll return at the end with a few final thoughts. So let's begin.
Accessing the dashboard. You can access this dashboard by scanning the QR code or visiting the tiny URL shown on the screen. The dashboard is hosted on the CSTA Washington website, where you'll also find additional documentation and other resources supporting computer science education throughout Washington. Although you can explore the dashboard directly from the website, I recommend opening it in Tableau Public, using the link at the top of the page. The larger display provides a better viewing experience and access to Tableau's built-in features. What can this dashboard show? This dashboard explores CTE enrollment in Washington from the 2019 to 2024 to 25 school years. Rather than presenting only statewide totals, it lets you investigate the data from several different perspectives. You can explore overall CTE enrollment, career clusters and CIP codes, gender, race and ethnicity, income status, students with disabilities, English learner status. For each of these perspectives, you can view information at 4 different levels: statewide, educational service district, ESD, school district, individual schools. The goal is simple: start with the big picture, then drill down to answer increasingly specific questions. Dashboard organization. Across the top of the dashboard, you'll see several Tableau stories. Each story explores the same data through a different demographic lens. Most stories share the same basic navigation: state, ESD, district, and school. Once you've learned how one story works, the others will feel very familiar. Let's begin with the overall enrollment story. Overall enrollment state view. The state view shows how CTE enrollment has changed over 6 school years from 2019 to 22, 2024 to 2025. Notice the 3 columns. The blue bars show total enrollment in grades 6 through 12. The green bars show the CTE participation rate, that is, the number of CTE enrollments divided by the number of students. In Washington, the CTE participation rate was 1.37 in 2024 to 25. The stacked bars on the right show how those enrollments are distributed across the 14 career clusters from the new Advanced CTE framework. Whenever you'd like precise values, simply hover over any bar to display detailed information. Together, these 3 visualizations answer 3 different questions. How many students are enrolled? How many CTE courses are students taking? What types of CTE courses are students taking? ESD view. Now let's move to the ESD view. Instead of comparing years, we're now comparing educational service districts during a selected school year. The school year filter allows you to examine any year in the dataset, although most users will probably begin with the most recent year. This view illustrates why the dashboard uses 3 different visualizations instead of just one. For example, Puget Sound ESD has by far the largest student population in Washington. However, when we look at participation rate instead of enrollment, we discover that its CTE participation rate is among the lowest of the ESDs. Without separating enrollment from participation rate, that insight would be much harder to recognize. The career cluster stacked bar chart also makes it easy to compare how different regions emphasize different program areas. District view. The district view works in the same way. Because Washington has nearly 300 school districts, you'll first choose both an ESD and a school year. The charts then display every district within that ESD. For example, we're currently looking at districts within the Puget Sound ESD. As you explore larger ESDs, you may need to scroll through the charts while keeping them aligned. Changing the ESD filter immediately updates all three visualizations. Here is the same information for ESD 101 in Spokane. School View. The School View lets you drill down one level further. After selecting a district, you'll see every school in that district. Here, we're looking at Seattle Public Schools. Changing the district filter instantly updates the visualizations. For example, here's the same analysis for the Bellingham School District. This ability to move smoothly from statewide trends all the way to individual schools is one of the dashboard's most powerful features. Demographic stories. The gender, race, and ethnicity, income, students with disabilities, and English language learner stories all use the same basic navigation. Rather than explaining each one separately, let's use the race and ethnicity story as an example. Race and ethnicity, State View. Here, the leftmost column shows how the total student population for each racial and ethnic group changed over the 6 school years studied. The middle column shows the CTE participation rate for that group in that year. The stacked bar chart in the rightmost column shows how enrollments are distributed across the 14 career clusters for that group in that year. This allows you to compare both participation and program choices across demographic groups over time. Race and ethnicity, ESD, district and school views. The remaining tabs work as they did in the overall story. At the ESD level, you can compare demographic participation across educational service districts for a given year. The color-coded bar chart in the left column shows the number of students in each racial group in that ESD. The color-coded bar chart in the middle column shows the CTE participation rate for that racial group. And the stacked bar chart in the right column shows the career cluster distribution for that racial group. At the district level, you can compare districts within an ESD. At the school level, you can examine individual schools within a district. Once you understand how one demographic story works, you've essentially learned them all. Investigation reports. The final story, called Investigations, goes beyond describing the data. Instead, it helps answer questions. For example, which career clusters are growing the fastest? Which CIP codes have experienced the greatest growth? Which districts have expanded CTE participation? Which schools offer a particular course? Let's look briefly at each report. Growth by career cluster. This table compares career cluster enrollment between 2019 to 20 and 2024 to 25. It also includes the average annual enrollment and the cumulative annual growth rate. This makes it easy to identify which career clusters are expanding most rapidly. Here we can see that management and entrepreneurship was the fastest growing career cluster with an 8.2% CAGR. Growth by CIP code. The Growth by CIP code report provides the same analysis, but at the much more detailed Classification of Instructional Programs, or CIP code, level. This allows you to investigate growth within specific instructional programs rather than broad career clusters. Growth by ESD, district, and school. These reports compare changes in both overall student enrollment and CTE enrollment over the 6-year period. Unlike the earlier stories, these tables include all districts or all schools in the state at once, making statewide comparisons much easier. Search schools by CIP code. This report answers a common question: which other schools teach this course? Simply select a CIP code to find schools across Washington offering that program. This can be especially useful when comparing programs or identifying potential collaboration opportunities. CIP code to career cluster mapping. Finally, the mapping table shows how individual CIP codes are assigned to Washington's 14 career clusters. While this is our best effort, we're currently asking OSPI to review and validate this mapping.
Closing. This dashboard was designed to make Washington's CTE data easier to explore, understand, and use. Whether you're examining statewide trends, comparing districts, studying participation among different student groups, or simply looking for schools offering a specific program, this dashboard gives you multiple ways to answer those questions. Because this is a beta release, we'd love to hear your suggestions. Just email us at washington@csteachers.org. Your feedback will help us both improve the dashboard and its supporting documentation. Thank you for watching, and I hope this dashboard becomes a valuable resource for your work. Thank you.